So hello everyone. I'm very happy to have Amy Chen with us at our pre-conference podcast episode for the third product substance management and regulatory compliance conference that we're hosting live in Brussels, 28th, 29th of April. Amy Chen is joining us from Compliance and Risks. Amy is the market access regulatory consultant. Amy, thank you very much for being the part of the conference. Thank you very much for joining. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your role in the organization?
Thank you. Thanks, Josh. So my name is Amy Chen. So I'm originally from China. I've been living in Ireland and work with compliance and risks for over 12 years. So I'm based in Cork now. And currently I work as a regulatory compliance consultant in the market access team in compliance and risks. So our company is working with lots of big brands to help the clients to understand regulations and their obligations better. We cover like regulation research worldwide over 200 countries and mainly about product safety regulations and environmental protection regulations. So as to my team, we provide more customized research and report of regulations and compliance requirements for product safety for our clients. So basically it all based solely on our clients' needs. It's like project based. And we try our best to transform the really regulatory information cut out from the regulations into a more actionable knowledge and help the clients to understand their obligations better and also save their time to pick out the requirements from pile of documents. Yeah, so that's about us.
Amy, look, your presentation, and for those of you who don't know, Amy will be presenting on day 2 on 29th of April. And the presentation title is The Sustainable Development in China, Encouraging Advanced Technologies, Equipment and Materials and its Impacts on Product Compliance. Now it's a very meaty title. So can you give us a little or a quick overview of what that entails?
So as the title suggested, it's encouraging new technologies, advanced technologies and materials to be used in product to, first of all, to improve the product safety and also reduce pollution to the environment. So this is, my presentation is basically give an overview of how this all starts and how the regulations and policies work to promote these new technologies. It's not only promoting them, but also at the same time, the government is kind of phasing out the outdated technologies, and there are regulations and penalties on using those outdated technologies. Also, there are certain materials and goods and technologies are prohibited from import into China or export from China. So all these things, they're different from what we are familiar with, like China ROS, we are REACH, which are really popular to all the manufacturers. This is a different area which might not be so familiar with lots of people, but it is really strict and it's a foundation to all the other restrictions. Especially this is part of the long-term plan of industry restructuring. So this is the foundation. So my presentation would give people, the potential audience, better understanding of how it works and how those regulations work together to impact the product compliance. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Amy, can you please elaborate a little bit more on what is the background and the main purpose of the industrial restructuring system that you just spoke about?
Yeah, so the industry restructuring system, it's a plan. It's actually a foundation, a fundamental policy area published in the 2005. I'm not sure if people are familiar with the China 5-year plan. So every 5 years, China would issue a national plan on each industry. So this is part of the plan, an 11th plan. So because back at the time, the technologies and materials used in the product manufacturing area is kind of outdated, it's old. And for cost saving problem, there would be like a pollution problem. And at the time, the climate change or sustainable development eye of the Chinese government and become really important. And the pollution problem is really severe. So the government decided to promote a more sustainable, like more greener way, developing way. So the first thing is to use better advanced technologies and materials to reduce the pollution from like chemicals used in the products and materials. So this is all how it started. And it's actually a long-term plan. So it's not like a once-off decision or once-off policy. It will just go on. And as the technology advanced, more and more new technologies and materials will be announced for manufacturers to adopt, or like older ones would be phased out. So the main purpose is to like, in order to go on a more sustainable way and pollution like prevention.
And what industries and products does this system apply to?
So as I said, it's a very base policy and a long-term plan. So it's national, and it covers, in theory, covers all the industries and all the products. So every 5 year, the 5-year plan each industry would have their own 5-year plan, which sets out principles based on this industry restructuring plan. So for example, chemical industry, they would have their own plan, a 5-year plan, set out all the requirements and principal requirements. And then the legislatures would draft the future legislation based on these principles. So it is important, but sometimes it's not really in manufacturers' mind. It is there. So yeah, pretty much all the industries, agriculture, you can name it, like agricultural, construction, light industry, textile industry, all the industries, all the products are subject to it. They are required to use better, more advanced technologies and materials if available, and phase out all old ones, and anything that is listed as prohibited, they can't use it, there are penalties. So yeah, this basically all the industries and products. So it's a big plan, it's kind of like a bigger picture.
And look, Amy, this industrial restructuring, right? What is the relationship between the industrial restructuring and the chemical compliance control in China? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because our conference is mainly about the chemical and substance, regulatory compliance. So how are these two connected?
Yeah, of course. So like I mentioned, the industrial restructuring applies to all industries. So chemical industry is definitely part of it. And also like light industry, all the products compliance would be part of it. So both like for product manufacturing and the chemical industry, they're subjected to this industry restructuring, which means they need to use more advanced technologies and use more environmental friendly materials and chemicals. To implement this industry restructuring plan, there are several catalogs that released. In those catalogs, they listed materials and chemicals that are prohibited, that are to be phased out and to be promoted, or like chemicals that you can use, chemicals or materials that you can use to substitute the harmful ones, hazardous ones. So those catalogs are part of this plan, and they be updated frequently. So they're there. So the chemical compliance, this is kind of like part of the chemical compliance, apart from REACH, ROS, all those like reporting and marking requirements. You have to watch out this as well. Like what type of chemicals that you cannot import into China, or products containing certain chemicals cannot be imported into China, cannot be exported from China, and or like some chemicals that are promoted now to be used as a substitution to other chemicals. So this is kind of like a different side, but it's part of the chemical compliance.
Thank you very much. And can you give us some examples of which materials or chemicals are being prohibited under this regime?
Yeah, so just quick, because in my presentation, I would give a better, like more detailed content of
just a little glimpse, if you can, because it's interesting how much it reflects what's happening here in EU.
Yeah. So for example, like the 7th batch of the catalog of goods that are prohibited from import into China, it has a list of mercury content products, such as like packaging, batteries, mercury contained batteries, or even cosmetics that contains mercuries. They are all banned from import into China from January 2021. So after January 2021, those listed items are not allowed to get to be imported into China. Yeah, that's one typical example.
Okay, and can you give us some example about the ones that are promoted?
Yeah, like this is also another catalog that just published recently. It's a catalog of key materials that to be promoted, to be used in the product. And so, for example, like the PPS new materials, I can't really pronounce the name of the chemicals, but it's PPS new materials that used in automotive and like electrical and electronic equipment, and also bio-based plasticizer used in textile industry and light industry and electrical electronic equipment. Yeah.
I mean, that's very, very interesting. Taking into consideration that our conference is mainly covering the tier 1 companies and all the companies, this conference is relevant to all the companies down the supply chain. Even though the conference will not be a large summit with thousands of people or something, it's going to be quite a small conference, and mainly the networking and information exchange is the key priority for it and the focus for it. It's very interesting because a lot of the companies that we have, they are very global, right? And I am sure that it will be very, very interesting to hear the global perspective of what's happening in China. So we're looking forward to your presentation. I'm very happy that you're joining us as the speaker.
Thank you.
And we'll see each other in Brussels. Meanwhile, don't miss out on this podcast, don't miss out on Amy's presentation, and don't miss out on the chance to book for the conference. Thank you very much, Amy. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thanks.